There has been another case which I won decisively, and which was about me wearing a kurta that is available on Linking Road or in Goa if you go, and suddenly I was hurting religious sentiments by wearing that. There was a case against me on it, and I wore it. I won that case very decisively in the court, and that, of course, did not get reported the way the fact that I had hurt religious sentiments got reported. Certain things are under are cases that are being going on as yet, and so I can't speak about it. But people have got it so completely wrong that it is shocking how wrong they've got it. So there's a term that Goldie and me use, which is BC and AC, before cancer and after cancer. I think it was Pyar Ke Liye Kuch Bhi Karega, yes, something like that. Saif and me went mental in it. I don't think the movie did really well, but we had such a blast when I got on to doing the reality shows that I was doing.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you're saying about the reality shows, but there I was speaking as myself. And suddenly people were like, oh, she has some sense. And I was like, I always did. You didn't know it. I think doing it gracefully is if I accept it. So I've accepted that everything is not perfect. It has never been. But I think when I look at it, it took me a bit of time. But I always say that, hey, you know what? I've earned these lines.
Hello and welcome. I'm Parul Sharma and you're watching Zoom TV. My guest today is a talented, gorgeous woman with an indomitable spirit. Please join me in welcoming Sonali Bendre. Hi, Sonali. Lovely to have you with me.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you're marking your return to acting after 7 years with The Broken News, and so much has changed for you personally since then. In fact, even I think the style of working in the industry has undergone some drastic changes. What were like some of the things that surprised you on the first few days of being set and shooting? And then what are some of the things that have remained exactly the same all these years?
Well, a lot of change, and I would say good change, exciting change. It's made me feel like I wish I had gotten back earlier. It's so much fun because the voices are so new and there's new style of working. And, for me, it was always, I was always asked to, overplay it a bit because my natural style is more natural and more underplayed. So for me, I fit right into this style. I mean, there are characters where you need to do it a bit over, but it's more realistic, which was always me. If you see Zakham, if you see Major Saab, if you see, most of these, or for that matter, Sarfarosh, with the don't mind and everything, but there's a realism to it. And that I get into and I fall into very, very naturally. While there's another very less watched movie of mine, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Pyar Ke Liye Kuch Bhi Karega, yes, something like that. Saif and me went mental in it. I don't think the movie did really well, but we had such a blast. And I discovered that, improv, the comic timing, we had such fun doing it. So what I realized is that there's a certain style which comes naturally to me and which seems to be prevalent now, so my husband would keep telling me that, I think you should get back to work now because the way you worked, not just the style of acting, but also the way I worked around me, the way I liked, the way I was on set or off set, the way my team was, etc., everything. He said, it's so much today. At that point of time, I was a bit of an alien. My mother never came on my set ever. And I had my team and I was like, very professional my behavior was, which was not exactly what everybody was doing around that at that point of time. So he kept telling me that you will really enjoy these times. You'll enjoy the people. You will enjoy the way it has been shot. You will enjoy the fact that, the way the whole set atmosphere is, you'll enjoy.
Sure.
So, which is true. I really did enjoy it. And
so you seem to fit seamlessly right in, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't fit right in because, time passed and there is a bit of difference. See, eventually, whatever said and done, you worked a certain way for so long. So when you come to that, you do get used to a certain pattern.
Sure.
So you might not have liked that pattern too much, but you were used to a certain pattern. So you needed to come out of that. So there was that discomfort. There was the nervousness. There was the fact that will I be able to do this? How will I fit in? Everybody is, the voices are so different and, I don't know anybody anymore. Is this going to be okay? Cameras have changed so much.
Yeah.
The way
the technology itself is
angles so are changed. There are no, the more real it is. It's very easy to say, oh, I like it real. But you know what, when you see the all the flaws, it's like, is this me? Also, when you look at yourself as a character in that sense on screen without the glamour, it does throw you off for a bit, because you're used to seeing yourself a certain way.
Yeah.
And you're not that young anymore, and it's going to be different. And so it does take a little getting used to. I'll be honest about it. We are in an industry where it's all about the looks.
Yeah.
And it is very importantly about the looks, and rightly so. We are in a visual medium. So
Sure.
I get that. And hence everything has been driven for so many years. You know, I must have been 15 or 16 when I started working. So,
Yeah.
so many years of your life, it's been about the looks. So my upbringing has not been about the looks. It's been more about, you know, what is inside that matters.
Substance.
But
Yeah.
I have lived a life which has been anything but what is inside that matters, you know, very frankly. So, you know, just kind of figuring that out did take a bit of time. And there was the associated nervousness and
I'm sure, yeah.
being a bit scared about that, but it felt.
I will disagree with you for one thing, though. I don't think the age or anything at all is showing. I would just like to put it out there. And even if it was, but you're doing it so gracefully.
What you said, thank you for saying that, because, you know, I think it's inevitable. I am going to grow. It'll be,
yeah.
It's foolish to think that you're not going to. And that is the reality of life. And I would like to do that gracefully. And I think doing it gracefully is if I accept it. So I've accepted that everything is not perfect. It has never been. But I think when I look at it, it took me a bit of time. But I always say that, hey, you know what? I've earned these lines.
Absolutely.
And hence I've earned these lines, and I'm proud of them.
You know, someone who's been a part of this industry for decades now, and also someone who's kind of successfully overcome great adversity in your personal life. Would you say your perspective about career life has changed from back when you debuted in 1994 to now, like in terms of maybe what matters then, what matters now?
Definitely. I mean, you know, even if I didn't go through what I didn't go through, you are not what you are when you're 15. You evolve, you grow. Every decade, you're a different person. And, you know, you change. And sometimes you accept the change, or sometimes you try not to. You don't accept it and you stick to what you were. And that's the choices that everybody makes. And that's how, that's how everybody evolves. And so definitely there has been change, and especially after what I went through, there's an immense amount of change. So there's a term that Goldie and me use, which is BC and AC, before cancer and after cancer. So before cancer, there was a thought process, and after cancer, if you've not learned the lesson from what you've been through, then it's really sad, because, you know, there's so much knowledge, there's so much to grow. And when you learn, you grow. And I would want to keep growing till the day I die, because that's what is the reality. Change is the only constant, is one thing you realize. And so you need to evolve. And I think that's what me doing this show is. I'm evolving as a human being, as an artist, as everything. You know, I'm evolving and I'm understanding, what am I? I mean, do I know who am I as a person thoroughly? Not yet. I'm still understanding and still growing. But I do have I think I have more of an idea now than when I was in my teens.
Yeah, a bit more of an idea than you back then.
Yeah.
You know, Shriya's character says a very interesting line in the trailer. She says, "Kabhi kabhi sahi karne ke liye galat logon ke saath kaam karna padta hai." I want to ask you, in your professional journey, have you ever felt that you worked with maybe the wrong people, or that you've taken up something that you know you don't personally align with, but professionally it's the smart and the obvious decision to make?
Let me put it this way, that in your teens, there's a certain age when it's only black and white, you're idealistic, and everything is, I will do this, not do this. As you grow, you realize that it's not black and white. And there are, I don't know if it's the right word, but there are compromises that you have to make. Because just because I can't think of any other word, I'm saying a compromise, but I don't think that is also the right word, because that's, I think, part of growing up, where you, let's say accepting is a part of growing up, you know, where you accept that, you know, just because this is something that I don't agree with, that means it's wrong. You grow out of just being that kind of idealistic. You start looking at different points of view, and that, I think, is growing. growing is always painful. And when you lose that idealism, that innocence, I would call that, because that's the age of innocence where, and then you grow up and you lose that innocence. It's very painful, when you lose that. And it's very uncomfortable, the process of growing up. And as you grow older, like as I keep growing now, that discomfort has become a little less. Why? Because I accept the fact that everything that I face in life doesn't mean that I'm going to completely agree with it. So yes, definitely, I have been through my career where you've done certain things because I've looked at the end result. For me, it was the paycheck that was coming in, which was very important. I needed it. And so you did certain things because, okay, I don't really like this story. It's okay. I don't enjoy working with these people so much. But you know what? Here, paycheck is good. I need to do it. This is my job. I just need to do it.
Sure.
So coming to a point now where I say that, you know what? It's not just the paycheck for me right now. Touch wood, thank God. And maybe I had to go through that to come to this stage. And so now it's going to be the journey, the process, the people. And what am I saying? So all that is more important.
Sure.
So that thing is right or wrong. That was the period, that was the era where I needed to do that. That was for me at that point of time. And because I went through that, I grew up to understand that there will be times when it is okay to, do certain things with people.
You just kind of have to suck it up and just deal with it. Yeah. Right. Of course, the broken news is all about the media and its coverage of certain events in a certain manner. As someone whose career pretty much spans almost across 3 decades, what has your relationship with the media been like over the years?
I've never been best friends with them. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But I don't think there has been any kind of it's been a balance. I think it's neither been great. It's neither been bad. There have been moments, ups and downs, but it's more or less been a balanced state of being where my relationship with media is concerned. Also, media has changed a lot. Where broken news is concerned, what you said is so true. It's also the journey. When we talk about media, the fact that that line of Shreya's that you mentioned, and when you asked me what I go through, that is the way I look at media, because there is always going to be some people who you identify with. There are going to be some people who you can vibe with. And there are going to be some whom you can't. And that is true in every profession. It's true in any and every profession. It's true in relationships also. So as in life, you need to decide which part of what is your shade of gray.
Yeah.
That's what you need to decide. And that's what we all need to understand. Where broken news is concerned, I thought the story was very relevant and very interesting. Also because I feel the moment you can show what happens behind the scenes. See, everybody is a human being, and everybody who is working in the media is a human being. They come with their own issues, their own, like you said, the black and white of their own thing, their own growth, their own, what do you call it? Like for me, at a certain point, everybody comes with their own problems and the way they are dealing with it and their own growth process. So once you understand that, and once you understand what it takes to get that headline out, to get that byline out, the struggle that happens behind it, the amount of ups and downs and what happens, it is so important. Once you understand that, when you look at the news, you will say, hey, let me look at it from other perspective also before I truly believe it. So, understanding what is the business of news, because it is a business, and everything that you need to put money into is going to be a business, because nobody can put money in and go into loss and then keep putting money in. World doesn't work like that. So it is going to be, I just feel that news is like education or like healthcare. These kind of businesses, media for me is that kind of business, which is service oriented. And because media is it is the
pillar of democracy. Yes.
So for media and the role that they play, like with educators and like with medical professionals, media professionals, it has to be just a little bit more than just the profit and loss. Maybe some other industry, it could be just about profit and loss, but these industries, it cannot be just about profit and loss. There has to be something more. more than that.
Fair. In the same vein, the media often gets things wrong. We know that. Whether it's on purpose to create clickbaity stuff or whether it's by mistake or out of sheer ignorance, we know it happens quite a lot. What's something that the media really got wrong about you or you feel was misreported over the years, which you, if you had the chance, you'd sort of go back in time and clarify or like ask for a correction or an apology?
So there are, if I'm just, the reason for the pause is that I'm thinking that do I really want to name those incidents is what is going on in my head. I would name them, but maybe I will just talk about it in a broader sense. What I would say is that, yes, media, and I would say society or public in general has got it wrong for various reasons. Again, here, there is no, please understand, I'm not blaming anybody, because I think I've outgrown that phase. There was a phase where I would be blaming, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It was part of a process that I needed to go through. But certain things are under are cases that are being going on as yet, and so I can't speak about it. But people have got it so completely wrong that it is shocking how wrong they've got it. But it's going on in the cases for years together. Sure. Until it goes on, you can't speak about it. Till you don't speak about it, others will keep speaking about it and have their views about it, and you can't really speak about it and say what you feel like saying about it. So there's this whole conundrum about it, and so it has to live with that. But there has been there has been another case which I won decisively, and which was about me wearing a kurta that is available on Linking Road or in Goa if you go, and suddenly I was hurting religious sentiments by wearing that. There was a case against me on it, and I wore it. I won that case very decisively in the court, and that, of course, did not get reported the way the fact that I had hurt religious sentiments got reported. But that, and it was shocking because it was just so bizarre that I was being put through that. That case I can talk about because the result is out and it was decisively in my favor, and etc. etc. And then you have the usual of, the moment you're an actor, you never want to be looked at as somebody who has a mind of her own. It was very easy in that phase for them to ask you, can I share something with you? It was really funny because, you would have a lot of questions that, journalists would come and ask you. And I always gave them a different answer. And nobody ever caught
I love it.
And it was so funny because they didn't care. It was just a question they were asking. I mean, once I said black was my favorite color, and the next time I would say red was my favorite color. And they said, oh, you said, they just wanted to ask, and they never really cared if you what it was, because their point, those were the questions they were asking just to kind of get to what was the sensational question that they wanted to ask. And if you had something sensible to say, they didn't really want to hear it because, that didn't matter. That was not the headline, and they didn't really care. So I knew that you didn't dare, that was not what they wanted. So for the longest time, when I went through what I went through now, and when I came out with the book club, and when I was on social media, suddenly people started saying, oh, we never knew you like this. Or for that matter, when I got on to doing the reality shows that I was doing, and you can say whatever you're saying about the reality shows, but there I was speaking as myself. And suddenly people were like, oh, she has some sense. And I was like, I always did. You didn't know it. And then look at it, you didn't know it because that was not a part that was, I don't know, maybe that didn't sell or whatever. And after a point, you just did not want to say it because I know that someone sitting in front of you and asking that questions didn't really care about what you thought of that. So in that sense, I love the social media because I could put myself out the way I was. Suddenly people saw me as what I was. So for me, I think social media as a tool has been wonderful. How to use it is up to you, but it has been wonderful because I was able to show another side to me and was accepted for that.
And actually be yourself without any of the frills and fancies. Was there also ever a time that you felt maybe extremely supported by the media? Like you felt like they had your back?
Yes, I did. I mean, people ask you about paparazzi and, they always say that, oh, they kind of hound you, this and that. It's their job. They do it. It's a give and take. We all know it, that there's enough amount of give and take that happens in this, where actors or stars or people who want to be known use it when they want to use it. So
absolutely.
But there have been times when where I can talk about myself, and where there have been times when I've said that, please, not today. I'm really not in the zone where I can be. I promise you, next time I step out, I will give you the picture because I know you want it. I will do it. I promise you. And it has been respected. And I feel that I have been very respectful of them, and they've always given that respect back to me. So I don't have complaints. They are doing a job, and I am and it is part of my job to be in the limelight. So it coincides at some point. So we can make it a clash, or we can make it something which can be that can be woven together and lived together. And so far, that has been the case with me. So I would say that I've got that support from media in that sense.
That's nice to hear. I mean, that's what it stays. And lastly, as a famous personality who has been covered by the media, has been in headlines for so many years, do you feel like you've been able to draw that line where you've managed to keep a demarcation between personal and professional? And, do you think that you've been able to do that?
I think for not having that line as much as I would like it to be, I won't blame the media for it. I would say that happened when phones got cameras. I think that's the end of
I agree.
Everyone.
I agree.
You didn't have to be a celebrity for anybody. It was the end of privacy, period. So I really don't think I can blame media for it. I think I would. It's the cameras on the phone. Everybody is a journalist today. Everybody is a photojournalist today. And for everything, it's recorded and said, oh, proof. It's nice. Yeah. So yes, line is definitely more and more difficult to be drawn. I do try.
It's important to you to have that, right?
For my sanity, yes. So I do try. But yeah.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully I'm one of the people that you are going to vibe with and have vibed with as one of the journalists.
Yes, absolutely.
In one of your answers.
I love the questions you've asked, and I think you've given a patient hearing. So yes, definitely.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Sonali. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck for everything ahead. Can't wait to see more and more of you on the screen, and can't wait to meet you in person and do this another time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.